Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Nerdpocalypse Podcast. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Terrence.
What's up?
And Demetrius.
Hey.
All right, guys, we're back. There is plenty to talk about this week. No science and tech or stupid tech this week, but everything else is back. Checked out real quick. Terrence, you got to see Captain Marvel, and Demetrius, you got to see it. So you guys can talk amongst yourself.
You haven't seen it yet?
I have seen it, but I already gave my review. So
That's right. You did.
And then I'll talk about something else with that. But go ahead.
What did you think? You go first.
I go first.
Because
okay, generally speaking, I
What you think, women haters?
I think it was a very fine Marvel Phase 1 movie, on par with Captain America, the first Avenger. Mm-hmm. The only thing that was different was the villain, who was very much a Phase 3 villain. Where he had
I can see that.
He had more personality, he had more agency, that you didn't really see coming until you were like in the thick of it, and then the heel turn happened, you know?
Oh, by the way, we are going to speak spoilers at some point here. So just if you haven't seen it, this is going to be a spoiler conversation. Good.
And as far as the effects, her powers, I mean, it was cool. Like I don't know. I think in this era of 21 movies and then seeing the DC side of things and then seeing other properties, how they go about their superheroes and such, we have become accustomed to seeing the plot points by the numbers. We know what's going to happen. We just don't know how it's going to happen to a degree and what it's going to look like.
Right.
This wasn't a predictable movie, but it wasn't something that it wasn't an event that we were excited for the way that Infinity War was.
Oh, no, undoubtedly.
Right. And then because I mean, I don't know about you all. I was excited to see what was going to happen in Ant-Man and the Wasp, just because it was after Infinity War and I knew something had to happen, in order to coincide with that.
Right, sure.
So Captain Marvel, this was an origin story set in the 90s. I need to see her movie so I know who the hell she is when Endgame comes out. All right. So I set my expectations pretty low because I didn't think it was going to be like, earth-shattering or anything like that. It's just a regular origin film. So I didn't have a problem with it. I didn't see anything wrong with it. The acting was fine. She was supposed to be wooden. I mean,
yeah, she was. She was supposed to suppress her emotion.
Right. Because that's the way the Kree are. I think the only Kree who had like any real personality was Jude Law and John Manunso.
And his wasn't that much either. Hansu wasn't that much either. Like he made a joke, but it was like super dry wit, right? Like so, and I think that's kind of how they're supposed to be.
Go ahead, Terrence.
yeah, this was I wasn't a big fan of it. Yeah, I wasn't. Like,
were you bored?
I'll put a canceled stamp over your
I'll wear it. Whatever. Yeah, it was boring.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like, again, if she was supposed to be winning, she did a hell of a job because I just was not invested in her character at all. Like again, this is what number movie is this?
This is 21.
21. Yeah. This is the 21st movie. I would put this above Thor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where would you put this in reference to Doctor Strange?
I think Doctor Strange is better.
Yeah.
Honestly. I would put it right below Doctor Strange. It's above Thor. I think if we're doing like the origin stories, I would go Thor, Incredible Hulk.
Wait, from worst to best?
Yeah, from worst to best. Yeah. Because Thor sucks. Thor's a trash ass movie.
Really?
I'm not.
I can't get with you on that.
Yeah,
one.
Thor's terrible. I think I've never seen the second one.
That's fine.
I think the Incredible
Hulk.
Either way, either of those two could be whatever. I don't care. Those two were trash.
When was the last time you saw the Incredible Hulk?
Maybe 2 years ago.
Do you remember in the group chat we were talking about it, and we were like, Deacon and I were going back?
You're like, yeah.
Dog.
No, it isn't.
No, I don't think it's
two
good.
Scenes in that movie good.
I think that movie is very bad.
Yeah, this is above Thor. I still think Captain America is better.
Okay.
I put Captain America above this.
Well, yeah, because he had heart.
Yeah, this movie had no heart. They just ripped that shit out of his chest.
The little black girl.
No, like, look, I like everyone around her.
Okay.
Like, she was the worst part of the movie. And I understand what the movie's, I get it. It was basically her biggest, like, thinking about it, like, after watching, thinking about it, like, her biggest enemy was essentially misogyny, right? Because it was because, like, what's his name? Jude Law was like, you have to suppress your emotions, like, and that's the Cree way, I guess. But, like, every time she was told you can't do something, she got back up. Like, is she a superhero? Because she crashed a ton of times and didn't break nothing. I was like, yo, I'd have broke a limb or something.
You mean as a regular person? Yeah,
yeah, she was human. Until she got hit with, like...
Yeah, like, that military scene, I was like, yo, all of this would just be just all broken up.
She was up pretty far on that.
Yeah, she was like a Superman before she got the powers. I was like...
She was a tank.
But
okay, that's cool.
The ground was like a padding. It was like...
Sure. She crashed a fucking go-kart and she just got up and was like... Her father was like, yo, why are you going so fast? It's like, you let the other niggas go so fast. I was like, oh, so I got everything that the movie was trying to say. Yeah. I get it. It was like... It's for women. It absolutely is.
Oh,
but as a movie itself, there was really nothing memorable. Like the fight scene at the end where they played "I'm Just a Girl." I was like,
I mean, yeah, it's about as heavy-handed as you can.
It was basically the Lee Daniels School of Directing. I'm not even, like, seriously. Like, if you really go back, like, take away all of the things like the women empowerment and everything like that, just look at it as a movie itself.
I agree.
It's really not that great.
Well, I mean, when I gave my review saying that I stick by my review, it's, for me, I don't think, and that's why I asked about Doctor Strange. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think that you can, I don't see how people can love Doctor Strange and think this movie is somehow wildly out of consistency
it's not,
with
like,
that.
the movie isn't bad. I'm not going to say the movie's bad. It's just fine. It's
like,
fine.
But for me, it's like, as a Marvel movie, it exists in that same realm as for origin stories. It exists because there's actually, outside of Phase 1, there aren't really that many, right? Like, there really aren't. So
except like the Guardians.
Yeah, and even Guardians is a little hard because it's an origin story for a team, which is a little bit different, right? But I think it rises. I think it rises well in that level of origin stories. But I think that also what we should have mentioned in the review is that a lot of the origin stories are just not that great.
Yeah, they really aren't.
They're just not. So the bar is not super high to get over that. That being said, I do think, much like you saw, like, and I liked the first Avenger, but a lot of people did. They did. You know, they were like, it was okay.
I love that movie.
I think, just like Cap, I think every time you see her is going to get better and better. And I think
I would hope so.
And I think you're going to see more, because Brie Larson is a fucking good actress. She's very
really
good.
Good, but I'm just like.
But I think the wooden thing, and it's like the same thing that I think happened with Henry Cavill in Man of Steel, right? It's like you're supposed to be like, you don't know how to interact with people, and yeah, they can say that, but sometimes people kind of, like, you mentally, not that you forgot, I don't mean to imply that, but, like, after a while you're like, yeah, I get that, but could you act like a normal person, right? You know what I mean? So I can totally understand that.
And like her interaction with, like, Samuel L. Jackson and everybody else, those were, like, the best parts of the movie.
Because you see more of her personality as an actress.
She comes out a little bit, although sometimes, like, the dialogue was like, okay, that was really weird. That delivery was strange. But, like, those were cool. The cat, whatever, fine. Everyone loves Snuffle, I forget whatever his name.
Goose.
Yeah, that was cool. that was cool.
I don't know why that was, like, the scene stealer, but okay.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was a scene stealer, but I enjoyed it.
Watch Umbrella Academy. You see the same shit happens.
No, well,
spoiler.
It was just, I don't know, man. They marketed it. It was marketed as an event film, but it really wasn't at all.
Yeah, I don't know. In hindsight, I see Doctor Strange in the same way.
Yeah,
right? The event part is the fact that she's the first female superhero. Because Black Widow and Scarlet
Witch, yeah.
But she's never had a solo outing, and nor by the way, nor should she.
Right,
she doesn't anymore.
I think this movie should have came way earlier than it did, because this taking place 25 years ago. This movie should have come out maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Before what? Guardians?
I don't even know, to be honest. I don't know.
It should have come out before
it, but it should
War.
have come out. Yeah, it should have.
It definitely should have come out.
It should have come out before like Infinity, because it doesn't even come close.
Because honestly, okay.
I think that's actually a very fair point.
Right, we are expecting a certain level of quality, and this was just kind of like, why would you put this
that's
out
what
there?
I was trying to say, but couldn't say it that well. Cool. I would see this coming after the first Guardians. In between Guardians.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
because
I can see that. Right, because especially with Ronan, being a part of it, the way that he was, like that, all that. Apparently, this was what sent Ronan on that path to basically Captain Marvel caused the Guardians to form. With all this
because he became a zealot,
right? Yeah. But
that shit was funny.
But
at the end when she went full Super Saiyan, and then he was like, I'm gonna let you later. He was like,
but we gotta go.
But you know what I noticed during is like they shot this movie as if it was shot in 1995. Because there was a lot of the transitions and like there was some of the angles of the camera when it like went up into the sky or into like the horizon. I'm thinking like this is so jarring because they don't shoot movies like this anymore.
Right.
And like there was even a transition where it was kind of like it was like I believe a slide transition that I saw from
that's
from
super 90s
from like Star Wars or some shit. I'm like, what is this?
It was weird.
Well, but they did the same thing in Thor Ragnarok too. Like there's a lot of shooting styles and things like that felt very, very, very 80s in the same regard, because there's a couple like weirdly almost like TV transitions when they're on was it Scar or whatever the fuck planet is? Sakaar, right? So like probably they're playing in that same sandbox. But I thought it was a strong movie as far as like a film and also what its messaging was. Right?
Yeah, I think the message definitely overshadowed the actual film itself.
Yeah,
because
undoubtedly.
the film itself, I just was like, I can't really, like, I don't need to see it again.
No,
I don't need to watch it.
Yeah, I've seen it twice. I'm good. But what I will say is I'm looking very forward to seeing what they do with that character going forward, because I think the directors did a fine job. I actually thought they did a good job, but I'd like to see her use her in a sandbox with some directors that are stronger than what we got, because I think the Russos are gonna have a fucking blast with her. I think they will. And I mean, we're gonna talk about the new Endgame trailer. I mean, even the little ending part with her and Thor, like you can tell they are setting up a good banter between basically the two fucking most powerful people in their universe.
Yeah.
So that should be a lot of fun, considering that Thor, like you've got the whole idea of like the fighting against the misogyny part, and Thor is just like a giant frat boy. Yeah. He's just a giant frat boy. And I feel like he got to get embarrassed a couple times. He'd be like, okay, I get it now. Sorry, my bad. Like, and I think they should play to that a little bit, because you got to give the heroes a chance to fuck up too and learn, right? Because it's not like they're super beings, but they're also like, I mean, Thor's just wearing like a sweatshirt in this movie. He's like a regular ass dude. So yeah, you got to play to that. So there's also a review of Triple Frontier, which is the new movie that was released on Netflix and in theaters for some reason. Demetrius and I did that review, so by the time you're listening to this,
movie theaters.
Yeah, it was playing in some theaters. It was playing downtown. I'm like,
why?
I guess some people don't have Netflix. Like, yo, it's $10 a month. That's it.
You just spent that on a ticket.
Probably more than that.
Yeah, and popcorn.
And you saw one movie. That's not ridiculous. Worth it. But yeah, check out the review for Triple Frontier, aka Ghost Recon Wildlands.
It is. I mean, it is.
All right. Make sure you go to the nerdpocalypse.com/Netflix. Or excuse me. Wow. See? My brain. Nerdpocalypse.com/Amazon. Before you buy anything on Amazon, we get a little bit of a kickback. You don't pay anything extra, but it does help out the show. Oh, I forgot to say when we were talking about Captain Marvel, I was supposed to debate somebody.
Oh yeah, you were, weren't you?
Who was not pleased with my review of Captain Marvel. They got all up in their fifis, and they tried to call me out, which was not a good idea, because in 2019, if you call me out, I will invite you on the show and I will tear your ass up over it. But you chickened out because you're a fucking coward and pretended like you couldn't remember the time zones and all this other stuff. Oh. Nigga, knock it off. Okay? Knock it off. You didn't want this smoke. You just didn't. And look, I'm over it. I gave you time. I gave you 15 extra minutes of my time, and then I had real work to do instead of mopping your ass up on YouTube Live. So again, I put the challenge out. You got something to say? I'm happy to talk about it. Don't call me out. I don't take kindly to disrespect. Yeah, no.
Like a nigga. Never mind.
Yeah, don't get into that. Don't get into that. All right, lightning round. Terrence, you're up.
First up, Brian, pedophile singer, is finally removed from Red Sonja.
Good.
Excellent.
Did you guys ever see... You've never seen Conan the Barbarian, is that correct?
No, I've never seen it, no.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my God.
How are you here? There's so much that you have between you and Micah.
They both have never seen the Conan movies. Micah's like, I didn't want to see the Jason Momoa one. I'm like, stop saying that. That is not the Conan movies.
That doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Right?
No one talks about those anymore. Or that one.
I feel like I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I've
Conan the Barbarian is a solid ass movie. The Destroyer, I still like it, but it's not so great.
I mean, James Earl Jones was in this bitch, man. I mean,
yeah. He was a pretty formidable villain.
Yeah, like, oh gosh. And the thing is, like, you watch it now and you're like, this is boring and this is, like, the pacing's all off because you're going to be looking at it from a 2019 point of view as opposed to looking at it from a 1988, 4-year-old like myself. Oh, you were 8. You know what I'm saying? Like, from that perspective, like, it was like big ass sword.
That era. What, like, they've been trying to recapture that era in movies like every couple of years, right? They try to do these like sword and sandal kind of films, and I'm like, nothing will recreate that era of like Conan, Red Sonja, Beastmaster.
Oh, shit.
Dude, those were solidly terrible movies that I loved.
The thing is, like, it's not only was it...
Although I think Conan the Barbarian is a pretty good movie.
Yeah, it wasn't just swords and sand, because they did all of the sci-fi stuff, whether it was... Like,
it was all involved with wizards and shit.
Exactly. You had Willow, you had Warlock.
Willow.
What was the one where brain scanners or something or another, where like you had like these telepaths? Shit.
You're talking about the is that Scanners?
Scanners.
Yeah, just Scanners.
Yeah, Scanners. Okay, there was that one.
It
then
that's late 70s, early 80s. I think
Scanners. I think so. Yeah.
You're talking about the guy who like blows people's heads off?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just pretty sure it's in the 80s.
The North Star? Like, come on. Like,
the live action movie or the animated movie? Because the live action movie
animated.
Because the live action movie is an abortion on screen. That movie is horrible.
Costas Mandalore was his name?
Yeah, I think so.
What, the dude from the Saw movies?
Yeah. No, he wasn't from the Saw movies. He was from a show that was on CBS.
Called what?
It was a weekly show too.
I don't know, but that guy shouldn't be in anything.
No, he was terrible.
He is in Saw.
Yeah, he was in Saw, but then he was known for something. He was known for
Scanners. I swear to God, that was.
So anyway, so they're doing a new Red Sonja project.
Oh, that was 81. Damn. Oh,
and that's David Cronenberg.
Picket Fences.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Ain't that one of the? Isn't that movie? It wasn't that like a weird ass like.
It wasn't Twin Peaks. It was
along the line of Twin Peaks, kind of weird shit.
Somewhat.
Yeah. I never got into Twin Peaks either.
I need to go back and watch that too because like I
think it's on Hulu.
Is it?
I think so.
Because I've gone back and started watching The Practice and on Hulu. And
what are you, a 45-year-old woman?
Think about it, because it was shit that I was watching when I was a kid.
55-year-old woman.
It was stuff that I was watching as a kid, but now that I'm watching it as an adult, one of the first episodes in the first season, there was a Jewish rabbi who apparently was
most rabbis are Jewish.
Right, excuse me. It was a rabbi who was accused for inciting a murder, and the press was calling him. The press was calling him a Jewish killer, and so this one guy, the fat boy, was like, "Why do you all do that? If he was black, you would say the killer. If he was white, you say the accused. Now you sitting here saying just because he got a yarmulke on his head that he's got to be the Jewish killer? Why do you all do that?" And he got pushed into a building before they could answer. I was like, "Fucking 1997, they were really doing it back then."
Oh yeah,
I didn't realize that they were aware or woke.
Oh yeah,
of that shit then.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
But yeah,
golden age. Yeah, look, I wouldn't say I don't need a Red Sonja movie, but I don't really need a Red Sonja movie.
It's a popular cosplay.
It is, and I enjoy it. I do. It's like doing a Vampirella cosplay. I'm like, yo, why are you even wearing clothes, yo? Like, it's a joke. This is a joke. But Red Sonja back in the day was like, again, it was in that same era. It was a solid sword and sandal kind of movie. I mean, sure, they've been trying to get this off the ground. I can't remember the first year I went to Comic-Con in San Diego, but they had advertisements for a Red Sonja project back then that just never got off the ground. So what was the woman who got kind of blackballed for calling out Harvey Weinstein at first? She was supposed to do it. Rose McGowan. She was supposed to be Red Sonja for a long time, and they fucking got rid of that. And way before she kind of got blackballed.
She got some large titties.
So she's perfect for Red Sonja.
Yeah, she did.
So, look, Bryan Singer not doing it is probably a good idea because he's a pedophile. So I'm fine with it. Yeah. I'm fine with Bryan Singer not doing anything ever except for jail time, honestly.
Yeah.
So pretty much.
He can go to hell.
Next up, Disney Plus rumored to be planning an animated What If series.
Dope.
I really like this idea.
So do I.
This is smart. So, Terrence, what if is not a character in Marvel vs. Capcom? So let us explain who.
Well, these are just like what if stories, right?
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah, I understand that.
Like, who's what if? And what is it? What's this combo?
What is the super move?
Yeah, what's the super move?
I have so many of those comics.
I used to read these back in the day. Look, I like the idea. I like that they're being smart by making it animated because, one, that allows it to be cheaper, and it also allows them to do anything because they have animated rights to any characters. They could do what if for Spider-Man characters. They can do what if for X-Men. They can do anything, and just go for broke. Like, who cares? Like, what if Bruce Banner became the Hulk, but he also was Iron Man? Like, you know what I mean? Like, or what if Tony Stark became the Hulk, right? He's still got the Iron Man, ingenuity, but he's a fucking giant. So yeah, you could do a bunch of stuff. I think this is a smart move. It's a good idea for Disney Plus, and it just allows much more creative stories. So I kind of like that.
Okay, next up, Sony has a 7-year plan for Spider-Man movies and television. I thought, okay, look.
Why?
Into the Spider-Verse is very good.
Yes.
Very good.
I'll take
Homecoming
that.
was very good, but that wasn't really Sony.
No,
and it looks like this Far From Home is going to be very good, and that also isn't really Sony. What is Sony going to do? 7 years for what? Starting today?
Sure. Like, I don't know. Into the Spider-Verse every year for the next 7 years. Do you think that Disney has enough money to just be like,
yeah,
give me him?
Yeah. They do.
I don't think they'd sell him. I don't think they'd sell him. I think they might. Maybe they would for $1 billion.
That's a lot of fucking money.
Considering how many characters he has behind him, it'd be worth it. He's their poster boy. I feel like in the next couple of years, you could see Marvel making a real move to be like, nah, give me that. Or Disney. I could see it. Especially when they're going to consolidate all the power in the next couple of days.
Disney is buying Fox, Thursday? Next Thursday?
Yeah, we'll get there. I got that story on the docket.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Thursday.
So,
I'd be interested to know if they have some sort of legal plan to be like, we're gonna let him rock for a minute, let him get all happy and shit, and then we're just gonna be like, and we'll take him. But yeah, a 7-year plan of their terrible movies. Morbius obviously is one. Tyrese has signed on. He's very excited. He's putting it on Instagram, where he just signed his contract to be in a shitty movie and probably have a shitty role in it. So, congrats, I guess. I think they're trying to do Kraven, right? That was rumored that they're trying to do that.
Sable and Black.
Yeah, Silver.
Is that still going to be a thing?
I don't know. They say it is going to be, but who knows? And what are they going to do on TV? What does that mean?
Who would they partner with? What station would that be on?
I don't know. I mean, maybe you could do a Spider-Ham animated series. I'd watch that maybe if it was on something I already had. I
don't even know because they can't even go to. Wait, what? I thought if Marvel has the animated rights, then how can Sony do it?
I think they just give them. I think that they are there's some sort of joint permission kind of thing.
It's kind of weird. I just don't want them. I don't want Spider-Man with Sony anymore.
Yeah, no, at all.
I mean, I understand that Venom made them $855 million, and that's mind-boggling because all of those people who went to go see it multiple times are fucking idiots. But at the end of the day, none of everything that they've put out has been good. Like, the problem is, I hate that people saw Venom. I totally understand why everyone saw Into the Spider-Verse, because it was fucking perfect. It really was. Like, look, and the reason why it was great, I mean, it wasn't Marvel's reason. It was because they hired Lord and Miller, because those guys really know how to do cartoons. They just do. But you're going to hire Lord and Miller for every project? No. You know,
I would love to see them do a live action movie in the Marvel universe. I think they would be really good, actually.
Who would they do?
I don't know. I think you need a comedic character. I mean, you could get them to direct a live action Spider-Man movie. But apparently because they tried to do Solo and they did not do well because they do a lot of improv. So that doesn't really work for something like for the MCU. They're not
Solo?
The Star Wars ones.
Oh, Solo. I was about to say.
You and I are on the same page.
Yeah, I was like, Solo, the Mario and Peebles movie? What the fuck are you talking about?
That was like a Han Solo movie. I don't even think Lord and Miller were born back then. I was so excited when I was a kid when I was like, yo, this shit looks dope. It was not dope.
Because that was like did you see the Kurt Russell one?
Oh, Universal Soldier?
No, yeah. Kurt Russell. His was just Soldier.
Wasn't it in the Universal Soldier?
No.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm thinking, yeah, you're right. Soldier, I did see. I've also seen the Universal Soldier movies.
Yeah.
That's right. So okay. Look, I'm not pleased about this 7-year plan, but it is what it is. All right, next up.
Fox is going to be releasing 6 Alien short films online.
Okay, you're the big Aliens guy.
I am. Well, I haven't seen the last 3, 2, 3, whatever.
Oh, those are not good.
Oh, I don't know. Who's directing these? Are these going to be different directors or what? Online?
Yeah, I guess kind of digital shorts. That's kind of cool.
I mean, that's fine. I'll watch them. I did enjoy the game that came out a couple years ago, Alien Isolation.
There you go. Okay, well they have the breakdown for these. Okay. You want to read the first 3? I'll read the second.
Yeah, Alien, alone, Hope, and abandoned crew member aboard the derelict chemical hauler Otranto. Okay. Has spent a year trying to keep her ship and herself alive as both slowly fall apart. After discovering hidden cargo, she risked it all to power up the broken ship in search of human life, written and directed by Noah Miller. Okay. Like, now I need to know who these directors are. Second one is called... Really?
Alien Containment?
Good Lord. Alien Containment. 4 survivors find themselves stranded aboard a small escape pod in deep space, trying to piece together the details around the outbreak that led to their ship's destruction. They find themselves unsure to trust whether or not one of them might be infected. Written and directed by Chris Redding. And then there's Alien Harvest. The surviving crew of a damaged deep space harvester have minutes to reach the emergency evacuation shuttle. A motion sensor is their only navigation tool, leading them to safety while a creature in the shadows terrorizes the crew. However, the greatest threat might have been hiding in plain sight all along. That's directed by Benjamin Howdshell. None of these sound like they actually have the aliens, except for the third one.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. Alien Night Shift. When a missing space trucker is discovered hungover and disoriented, his co-workers suggest a nightcap as a remedy. Near closing time, they are reluctantly allowed inside the colony supply depot, where the trucker's condition worsens, leaving a young supply worker alone to take matters into his own hands. Written and directed by Aidan Bresnick.
It's all the same story.
It seems very similar. Yeah. Alien Ore, a hardworking miner instead of a truck driver. That's interesting. Hardworking miner on of a planet mining colony, Lorraine longs to make a better life for her daughter and her grandchildren. When her shift uncovers the death of a fellow miner under mysterious circumstances, Lorraine is forced to choose between escape or defying management orders and facing her fears to fight for the safety of her family. Written and directed by the Spear Sisters. alien specimen. It's the night shift in the colony greenhouse, and Julia, botanist, does her best to contain suspicious soil samples and that have triggered her sensitive lab dog. Despite her best efforts, the lab unexpectedly goes into full shutdown and she's trapped inside. Little does she know the alien specimen has escaped the mysterious cargo, and a game of cat and mouse ensues as the creature searches for a host, written and directed by Kelsey Taylor.
Well, that was different to a degree.
Yeah, they all are kind of like one person trapped alone trying to make it. Will they? Like, okay.
Yeah, the one is like an infiltrated.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, but we'll see. I mean,
did you ever see the movie Dreamcatcher?
The Stephen King? It's based on a Stephen King thing, right?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Was that Stephen King?
Guys trapped in the snow or whatever?
Yeah, well, they weren't trapped. They were at a cabin or something or another.
Yeah.
And
I started watching the first 5 minutes. And I was like, oh, it's a Stephen King movie. Click.
Practical effects. Shit is awesome.
Click. No. I don't know if you heard what I said. It's a Stephen King movie. No.
That's what it, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah. I'm going to see the second one because I'm a glutton for punishment.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was. He was dancing around like
you
fucking
hellfire.
Hellfire.
You don't like clowns, all right?
I don't like
I mean, like, I'm generally scared. I'm not scared of clowns like some sort of fucking child.
Yeah, well.
You don't like, are you really like, do you have a phobia?
It's like, I just don't like them looking at me. And then, like, you know.
What?
Because like they want to get close to you. They want to touch you. They want to.
Yo, your face. You are so serious. I still want them to look at me. Okay, Demetrius, it's fine.
I mean,
note to self. I keep this in my mental Rolodex of like people's personal weaknesses. Like, given time, like out of like Batman, like Tower of Babel, like I would send a clown to attack you. I would send a giant spider to attack Terrence, and then I would throw a pool of water onto Micah because he cannot swim. So, you know.
You see, I don't know. Remember that whole spate that we went through when there was like clowns that were just trying to scare people.
Yeah, I like that. Didn't care for it.
See,
yeah, but I'm not scared of clowns. Like if I'm at a mall,
fuck them too.
See, yeah, you're terrified of clowns. I don't remember what the phobia is called. It's something like
it's a Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
That's a good movie. It's funny.
It wasn't. Okay, there was no reason for them to be going in the direction.
I've seen that movie no less than 15 times.
No.
It used to creep me out as a kid, but I liked it. I don't know why.
I'd rather watch Candyman before I watch that shit.
I've never seen Candyman.
See,
I've seen Candyman.
Candyman's a real threat.
Well, I'm terrified of bees. That's not true. I'm not a child. I've never been stung by a bee though.
Were we friends?
I've never been stung by a bee.
Were we friends on Facebook when I got stung by a bee, a hornet, and a wasp? And
your face was like, your face looked like something out of a David Cronenberg film. Like I was like, oh look, it's Scanners right before his head explodes.
Shit.
It's hilarious. All right, next up.
All right, next. Excuse me. Next up, Fox. Oh wait, no, Captain Marvel. They're pretty well at the box office.
That's okay.
Just slightly, a little bit. Made a little bit of money.
So it is now at $550 million worldwide, scheduled to hit $700 million by this coming weekend. It's Thursday, by the way. That's not that long. Crazy. They're saying it's supposed to have like another 70 to maybe even $80 million weekend. So of course it'll be on top.
That's like the projected like 42% drop off or
something like that.
Yeah.
The thing is, I'm at this point I'm less concerned about it hitting $1 billion than it will. I mean, unless for some reason people who've seen it 2 or 3 times suddenly realize, hey, I don't like this movie, which is not likely. I'm more interested to see if it reaches the top 10 of fastest movies to $1 billion. Right, so it took Iron Man 3, which is number 10 on that list. It took it 23 days. So I think, yeah, I mean, if it continues to have like $20 million days, like on Monday, yeah, it's going to do super well.
Did it open up in China already?
I believe it did. But I don't hold me to that. I will look right now. Yeah, it did. And it's made $86 million. Excuse me. No, that's not true. It's made $104 million in China so far.
That's a lot for China.
That is a lot. Yeah, it's going to do really well. It's already made $187 million domestically and $362 million foreign. So, and I don't think it's open in all markets yet either. No, that's not true. That looks like actually all markets. But yeah, it's making a fucking shit ton. 10 million in Australia, 13 million in Brazil, 12 million in Mexico.
Do you know what the budget is on it?
I want to say 150 million. But they haven't really released that yet. They generally don't release it for a couple of weeks. Okay. So my guess is 150 million.
Another 100 million for advertising.
Yeah.
So about, let's say 250 million that they invested in it, and within the first weekend they bring back 4 or 5.
Yeah, they've doubled it already. Yeah, the new conspiracy theory is that Marvel is lying about these numbers and they're just trying to cover up the bomb that this is. Why would they cover up and make it so high and admit the numbers for movies like Ant-Man and the Wasp? Like,
stupid.
But
why?
Ant-Man and the Wasp only made like what, 700 million, right?
Not even. I think it's in the sixes. So yeah,
not even. Still made $600 million.
That's not a lot of money. It's a bomb. It's a flop. It's a flop.
It's
so
ridiculous.
Yeah, so she's well on her way to $700 million, which is pretty nuts. So this now, I believe Marvel is at $18 billion worldwide.
Jesus Christ.
10 years? 10 years.
In 10 years, $18 billion.
How much has Fox made in 20 years?
They haven't had a movie crack $1 billion yet.
What, $2 billion, if that?
Maybe 3. Terrible. They've had a couple of big ones, but it's kind of funny. $18 billion over 10 years, and they've had Iron Man 3, Avengers,
1 and 2.
Civil War,
all 3.
Age of Ultron, Infinity War,
Black Panther.
They've had 5 or 6 movies that have cracked $1 billion, which is nuts.
Insane.
That's not luck. That's skill. That's knowing what you're doing.
Yeah,
right? That's real skill.
What the fuck they're doing. Even if the movies aren't that great, they still know what the fuck they're doing.
Again, I don't know how I didn't notice this, because I normally try to research these kind of things. They've released this on International Women's Day. That's brilliant. It's a brilliant move. Women are like, I'm so hyped. Oh, look, a movie all about us kicking ass. I guess we'll see that tonight. Yeah.
So right now I'm looking at the top 5 highest grossing films worldwide as of March of 2019. Yeah. $2.7 billion. Avatar, $2.1 billion.
I want something to beat that so bad.
Yeah.
That movie sucks. Yeah.
How much is it?
2.7 billion.
And where's Infinity War?
Infinity War is number 4 at $2 billion. Jesus. And then right below it is 1.6 billion with Jurassic World.
I feel like if you're ever going to get a time to really go after that Avatar number, it's going to be Endgame. It's going to be. And I think because of the heaviness of the ending, I think that's going to spur people to fucking see that.
Re-release Infinity War 2 weeks before Endgame comes out. See what happens.
Yeah.
You think people would go back to see it?
I would go back and see it.
Yeah.
I would go back. Look, I don't do those marathons. You could see all 20 movies in a marathon. I'm like, y'all stink and don't stop talking during movies. I'm not sitting in the theater for 4 days with you. But you release, I think you could get away with Avengers, Age of Ultron, Infinity War, and Endgame. Yeah, I might do that.
Yeah, release Infinity War on April 5th, because that's Friday. That's the first Friday in April.
Oof.
And see what happens. You might be able to finally beat the fucking. I just want them to do it just to beat Avatar. I hate that.
Well, Avatar got re-released.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, it got absolutely re-released.
Well, see, now,
because people were super hyped. If you did, the only reason why they wouldn't do it now is because Captain Marvel is out and it would take money away from that.
True.
But
look, it's the 14th.
I'd be like,
Captain Marvel got 3 more weeks.
I'd be like, look,
come
look, listen, girl, I love you and all, but the second you crack $1 billion, we throw an Infinity War back out there because we're trying to make all the money. Because you could make, I don't know that you could make $700 million, but you could come close.
Yeah.
You could come close. I think with people being hyped for Endgame, I think you could do it.
Yeah.
I think you could.
They got number 3 on here.
Sit and then have them run concurrent with each other.
I would 100% go see Infinity War right into Endgame. 100%. Yeah, I
sit there for 5 hours.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, what else do we do sometimes? You know what I mean? Fuck
yeah.
it. But yeah,
I've definitely watched something way lower grade for 5 consecutive hours.
That's what I'm saying. I would do it.
Absolutely.
I see Star Wars episode. I mean, the Star Wars: The Force Awakens here is number 5. Like, so now I can't help but to wonder, the weight between Episode 9 versus Endgame. Which one is going to have the more impact?
Wait, I'm sorry. Say it one more time.
Okay, Episode 9 comes out this year as well.
Right.
So between Episode 9 and Endgame, which one has the heavier impact as far as...
It's Endgame. Endgame does.
Did everybody hate the last Star Wars?
Yeah, they hated it so much. They made like $1.5 billion. Oh, it's the worst. I'll see it again. Yeah, all right, nerd. No, I think Endgame has more because this is a culmination of like this story, like that ending is a culmination of far more than just 3 movies, right? So it's 9
movies for Star Wars. If we talk,
sure, but like
in the spinoffs,
right? But
it's going back fucking 40 years,
right? It's not like those 9 movies came like back to back, right? I mean, you had decades in between it, so it's like Return of the Jedi is the culmination of that first trilogy, and you know what I mean, like. It's done, and then they tack onto it. But it's like the better example to put against, or 1-to-1 example, is like the end of the Harry Potter series. Like those movies did crazy big because that was the end of a fucking era, and he was just like, once this is done, this is it. I mean, to prove that, it's the Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, which is the last movie, is the 8th fastest grossing movie to $1 billion. So, yeah. So right now, Avengers Infinity War is number 1. Fastest to $1 billion.
How many days?
11 days.
Jesus.
11 days at $1.02 billion. Star Wars The Force Awakens is number 2 at 12 days. Jurassic World is 13 days. Furious 7, number 4, 17 days. The Fate of the Furious, 18 days.
It's faster.
Yeah. People were fucking hyped for those movies. Star Wars The Last Jedi is number 6. Again, a movie that everyone hated, yet it is the 6th fastest movie to $1 billion. That's faster than Avatar. And Avatar is right behind it at number 7 for 19 days. It just made less money to cross the billion. Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2, then Avengers, then Iron Man 3. And I think Carol Danvers is going to beat Iron Man 3 because it took 23 days. I don't think she's going to take that long. What's also hilarious is the fastest grossing films to $2 billion. Titanic at number 4, Star Wars The Force Awakens, Infinity War, and then Avatar. But Infinity War was 1 day fucking shy of beating Avatar to $2 billion. What's funny is number 4, this is how rare $2 billion movies are. Number 4, how many days? 5,233 days for Titanic. Number 3, Star Wars The Force Awakens, 54 days. God, look at that fucking disparity. That's crazy. Jeez. We didn't have a $2 billion movie between 1997 and 2015. Or excuse me, 2009. That's nuts. So
I really want Avengers to beat Avatar or Titanic at least.
Yeah, Titanic is.
It could easily do that.
Right? No. Yeah, Avengers: Infinity War was just shy of Titanic because it made $2.002 billion, where Titanic made $2.03 billion. Mm-hmm. So. Yikes. All right, next. Rupert Wyatt explains his real reasons for Gambit not happening. Director Rupert Wyatt. So apparently, Fantastic Four did not happen Gambit didn't happen because Fantastic Four tanked. When Fantastic Four tanked, the studio was like, we need to cut the budget. We need to cut the budget for Gambit. And they were like, all right, cool. We'll cut the budget. Can we change the shooting schedule? Because we're like not really ready because we're going to have to make a bunch of changes. And they were like, no, we can't change the shooting schedule. And he was like, I'm out. Like, yo, this is not going to work. So because of Fantastic Four tanking so badly, it fucked Gambit over too. Which, to that I say, I'm so glad Fantastic Four tanked because I think the Gambit movie would have also been really bad. And apparently, he wanted to make it, Channing Tatum did some of the writing.
Oh, shit.
And he was trying to make it a romantic comedy.
Oh. Oh.
Who? Rogue?
No. Some other lady. He's had love interests in the comics before.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was supposed to be like a 70s style heist film of sorts. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is not...
So a period piece on top of a...
No, not a period piece.
But 70s style. Yeah.
Something that will only work in like in the Tarantino universe.
Yeah, I have a feeling this was a bullet dodged. Somebody was like, oh, I wonder if Kevin Feige still has to make a Gambit movie with Channing Tatum. I wonder if that's in the contract. I was like, yo, there's no fucking way that Kevin Feige would be like, yeah, we're doing that. Like, fucking bullshit. Put that shit on a back burner. Like, yeah, we'll do Gambit. He'll put that on a back burner until you retire. And they'd be like, now we'll put Gambit in a movie. Not doing a solo Gambit movie. It makes no sense. Next up, Marvel's Shang-Chi chooses director Destin Daniel Cretton.
Wow.
Sorry.
Smooth. So Destin Daniel Cretton is the director of Short Term 12. He is a Asian gentleman, which is great. What is going on?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
So he did make the 2013 film. There's an indie favorite called Short Term 12. I've never seen it, but it did star Brie Larson, ironically.
I've never seen her in any other movies other than Captain Marvel.
Yeah, she won an Oscar
for what?
Room.
Yeah. Didn't see that.
Yeah, she's really good.
I know you all like to watch the Oscar nominated movies and shit like that, but
I also like to watch good movies.
Yeah, I want to watch movies that entertain me, that I know we're going to be enteased. So it's like it doesn't feel like a waste of time.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, so, you watch Triple Frontier? How funny! I'm just teasing. It's actually not bad. So okay, here's my thing. This movie's gonna make $1 billion, and I'm gonna call it right now. I'm gonna do the fucking shit from Major League. I'm just pointing the bat to the stands. I'm calling my shot. I'm not gonna bunt. I'm calling it. Shang-Chi makes $1 billion. Why? Because there are 1 billion Chinese people, and Chinese people love movies about. Just mention that the movie takes place in China.
And it's like, why do you think Transformers?
Yeah,
they made $1 billion.
Oh, God.
But that's what they did. They were just like, we're going to China. Why are you going to China? Well, I mean, just to get money. But we're going there because of the plot. Like, no. If that movie, look, all that movie has to do, 50% of that movie take place in China. It will make $1 billion.
And who is Shang-Chi? I'm not familiar with the character.
He's Marvel's Bruce Lee with superpowers. I mean, for all intents and purposes. But let's see. In this article, it says Shang-Chi, who in the comics is born in China, how convenient, to a Chinese father and a white American mother. Gross. First appeared in 1973's Special Marvel Edition number 15. He was created by Steve Englehart and Jim Starlin, which is good.
Okay.
After Marvel failed to acquire the comic book rights to the television series Kung Fu. That's interesting. Shang-Chi was trained as a martial artist assassin by his father, the infamous pulp villain Fu Manchu. Don't look for that to be in it. They are not going to put a character named Fu Manchu in it.
They have to. They should.
They should, to keep it real. Yeah. But later became a hero after rebelling against his father's ways. Shang-Chi was a hit character in the 70s. Because of course, and recently saw a revival as a member of the Avengers during 2012's Marvel Now publishing event. Yeah, so this is going to make $1 billion because One, we don't have any prominent Asian superheroes. There's a ton of East Asian folks, and they love this shit. And diversity. The whole idea of like get woke, go broke. No. It's like wake up and get paid. Whatever the fuck the fucking line is. No, like there are. Look, I don't know if this offends people. I don't really give a shit. But there are more people of color than there are white people in the world, and they'd like to see themselves on screen.
Question.
It's a fact.
Do you think Crazy Rich Asians had a helping hand in fast tracking this character?
100%. Yes, absolutely. How much does that movie make? People were fucking hyped as shit for that, and they're making more of those movies.
It's a book, apparently, right?
Yeah, it's a book series, but like people are. I'm pretty sure they've already said they're making more of those. Because I think there's 3 books. Yeah, I'm sure that they looked at it and were like, oh. That movie made $238 million on a $30 million budget.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What did it do in China? Yeah.
It made $174 million here. So
yeah, it made $1.6 billion or $1.6 million in China, and like that's one of the highest grossing countries it did. Ironically, $7 million in the UK. But it also takes place in Singapore, so it's kind of like, I mean, the vast majority of the percentage of people in Singapore are Chinese. But yeah, $30 million budget, $238 million worldwide. That's pretty good. I'm sure they saw that and they were just like, yeah, this is clearly a viable audience.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the closest that we have to Asian heroes in the MCU is Ming-Na Wen, and people really like her. Mm-hmm. So,
and Dr. Cho, and
but she was basically a cameo,
right? And then also this Kree, this last Kree person, Minerva.
Oh yeah, but that again, you're in it like this much. But to have an Asian superhero, I think this is super smart. I think it's super smart. And, there's talk that Scott Derrickson, who directs Doctor Strange, who's coming back to do the sequel, he tweets out shit about Doctor Strange all the time, like just random shit about Doctor Strange, not about the movie but the character. And he kind of looks like Doctor Strange, which is fucking weird. But he tweeted out this cover of some comic where Doctor Strange fights Namor, and everyone's like, "You just posting that to post it?" And then he deleted it. So, which gives people thought that, oh, maybe they are going to do Namor as the villain in Doctor Strange 2. Well, if a lot of people are like, well, Namor should probably be an Asian actor or whatever. For my money, if I were doing it, Shang-Chi is your Asian hero. Like you got him solidly in the MCU. He's coming. He's going to be fucking huge, obviously. Make Namor South Asian.
Why would they deviate from
Middle Eastern dude?
Why would they deviate from the end of Doctor Strange, the first Doctor Strange, with what's his name?
Oh,
Chiwetel Ejiofor, his character, like that.
I mean, he might be back.
Okay. I'm saying, like, why would they go Shang-Chi or Namor, excuse me, as the villain, as opposed to trying to continue that storyline? Do you think they would save him for like the third movie, like the culmination of that trilogy? Or does that even matter now that we've gone through Infinity War? And
I mean, I would like to think they'd probably keep that thread, but that's a good point.
Because, there's something to consider. Like, all of the Phase 2 movies that had their starts, including, Spider-Man and whatnot, how do you think they would be influenced by the events of Infinity War and Endgame? And do they change the actual structure of the 3-story arc for those characters?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. It's certainly something I'm sure they're playing with, because I have to imagine, like with Captain Marvel, I have to imagine they're thinking, how do they bring in new characters without just doing by the numbers intro stories, right? I think that Mike and I were talking about this. The reason why Spider-Man and Black Panther works so well is because they were backfilled. right? You didn't need to get to know who Peter Parker was because you kind of got to know who he was, even a little bit in Civil War. So you got to see him in the suit. You got to see him like do shit. So when he shows up in his own movie, you're already invested. You're like, oh yeah, it's fucking Peter Parker. Remember that fucking action scene? Like you're already in it. Black Panther was even better because he was a huge part of Civil War. Yeah. So when you got to see him. When you got to see him in his movie, I mean, you remember how Black Panther started. It just fucking drop ship of him kicking ass. Like, they didn't go, this is T'Challa, right. This is his thing, here's his dad, and oh, my son. You know, they didn't, fuck all that. You already know what's happening. Just backfill them into other stories. And I think that's probably the way to do it. I think they missed a real opportunity to do that with Carol Danvers, but her story kind of makes sense considering it's in the past, and it's hard to, like, how the hell do you backfill her and then call her for help and no one's seen her? You know what I mean? Like, that Stinger scene meant something in Infinity War if you knew what that logo meant, right? So, like, it's a weird way to kind of backfill her a little bit, but she does suffer from that, right? Because she hasn't shown up. But... yeah, I think the best way to do it is to just backfill these characters. If you're going to do other origin stories, backfill them in something else and then expand out. I think it's the best way. Like if you do a Namor movie, if you had him as the villain, let's say, in a Doctor Strange movie or some other movie, if you had him there and then you gave him his solo movie later, make him a villain, right? Because originally he's a villain. And then have him kind of like, oh, I should probably change my ways. And that's how you end that movie. Let's say Doctor Strange 2. He's like, oh, all right, I think I've learned my lesson. And then he kind of fucking swims off. Then his Namor movie, you already got to know, oh, he's just kind of this arrogant prick. And then you can start a story of him being like a better person, right? And so you can just kind of move on, or he joins up with some people or whatever. But I think the era of origin stories is going to soon die.
Soon. It has to. Because, like, I mean, unless the character is as a triple threat or as dynamic as Namor is, because not only is he Aquaman light, he's also a fucking mutant. You know, like those wings on his feet, that's his mutation. Right. So if you could explain that, if you could dive into that and then tie that into other mutants to give him some sort of, you know, agency other than just, you know, I'm king of the seas and this is my land, or this is what I'm going to take, or whatever. Because I don't even know what kind of conflict he personally can have with Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
Doctor Strange is kind of like an ethereal, like above. Right,
exactly. I wasn't familiar with the comic, but apparently they've had their run-ins. So
okay, I mean, but see, the thing is, so who would you? Well, Namor would best be paired up against the Fantastic Four.
That's what I would argue.
Yeah, but those cartoons from the '90s were what the shit.
Yeah, but I think like. You know, everybody keeps going to Doctor Doom for the first villain for Fantastic Four. I don't think you do Doom first.
No, you do like Mole Man or some shit.
That's my feeling. But you could do Namor. You could do Namor, and that would be a cool way again to back introduce him into the entire universe, and then you know whatever, and then he can have future conflicts with Black Panther. Like they got some fucking serious shit. Like T'Challa hates Namor in the comic universe. I mean, he literally was like, the next time I see you, I'm going to kill you. That's what he told him.
On site.
And he was like, yo, I wasn't fucking around. And he saw him later and he was like, no, I don't know if you remember what I was saying. I wasn't fucking around. We fight right now. And he damn near killed him. He wasn't, and he was like, but I had the Phoenix Force. I wasn't thinking. He was like, again, I don't know if you heard what I said. I'm going to kill you. That was like one of the realest shit in comics. So, yeah, I think you just have to backfill them. I think there is ways to do it. This isn't on the docket, but I'll jump into this story real fast. The guy who directs that show Legion, who was tapped to write a Doctor Doom movie for Fox, right? And he's good because I mean Legion is a mindfuck, but it's very well done. But he was tapped to do a Doctor Doom solo movie. Now, obviously, that is not going to happen. But what's interesting is he said that he's had a meeting with Kevin Feige. None of the other people in Fox have had meetings with Kevin Feige. Like, apparently, the dude who does the X-Men movies, they were like, oh, have you met with Kevin Feige? He's like, no, I haven't met with him yet. I'm like, you ain't getting a call. He saw your movies. They're terrible. But this guy specifically has had a meeting with him. And apparently Kevin Feige was like, hey, are you still working on that Doctor Doom movie? And he was like, should I be working on that Doctor Doom movie? And that's where he left it. But Doctor Doom is one of those villains who could have his own solo story, I think. Like, if you should read Books of Doom. Micah always was like, read Books of Doom, read Books of Doom. And I was like, whatever, nerd. But I read it, and he was right. It's really good. It's Dr. Doom, like a journalist basically comes to Latveria to talk to him, like, yo, what the fuck is your problem? And he relays this story of how he became Dr. Doom to this person. And so it's him telling his own origin story, which is kind of dope. And
so this is all eyes on me then.
Yes. Yeah, arguably, but like way better. Way better. But he tells his own origin story. And so then you slowly get this real deep dive into him as to who he is and like the psychosis of him and him like traveling to hell to save his mother and like all the magic and all this other shit. But you could do all of that. And he's got some people he fights and stuff, but it's not the Fantastic Four. And at the very end, it's kind of like revealed of, this is his motivation and why he has that motivation. So you could do it. I'd like to see that. Like I remember seeing somebody's idea for Dr. Doom. I won't try to take credit for it, but they were basically saying like do Books of Doom. But at the end, like he's watching like a television is on or something, and he's like, one man has caused all these problems for me, blah blah blah. And then he like turns on the TV, and the TV's like, oh, scientist Reed Richards has discovered blah blah blah. And then the camera just pans out outside of the Latvian castle, and you just hear him at the last line of the movie just being like, Richards! And then it's established like he hates this guy and why he hates him. Right? And that's a good way to be like, cool. And then you backfill the Fantastic Four into that universe.
So I hate to, because I want to talk about this because it's all interesting to me, but after the Shyamalan movies of Glass and Split,
God, that last movie is really disappointing.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen it yet, but because there's no reason for me to with all of what I've heard. But from what I understand,
Split was very good though.
Yeah, Split to me is that cerebral superhero movie that actually makes you think about the inner workings of a character. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, and
it's funny because I was just having this thought about something else. But go ahead.
Okay, so since Glass didn't hit the mark the way that we all, I guess most of us wanted it to.
No.
Do you think that doing deep dives and getting down to the minutia of characters within an hour and a half to 2 hour stories are worth it? Because it's not because we only really do that now with long form series, which
like TV shows.
Yeah, with anywhere between 8 to 12 episodes. So I'm asking, is 2 hours a good enough amount of time to focus on one character to have this spotlight? And because it always seems like the villains are always more complex.
They always are
than the heroes are.
Yeah, so unless you have like anti-heroes. Like anybody who is like all good is generally not that complex. Unless they are trying to be all good in a world that's fucked up. That's why Captain America is complex, right? He's like trying to hold the world together, like literally like a helicopter and like a building. He's like trying to hold the world together, even though it is constantly, even the good guys are doing bad shit, right? Like he's got that sort of issue. I think it is worth it because I would argue Infinity War is that. Like, strip away all the, like, Captain America comes back or Thor fucking comes back to Wakanda. That's a Thanos story. And, like, he literally goes through hell to get those fucking stones. He literally, spoiler alert for the movie, he literally throws his daughter off a fucking cliff. Don't need it. He fucking tossed her, Like, so, or as the young kids would say, yeet. Or yote, I don't know. I'm old. But like that's a deep dive into a villain. Like the Russos pulled that off, and everyone was like, "Yeah, no, I'm more than okay with this." Because it would feel like a slow burn if there weren't intercut with like the Wakandan action and all that other shit. But if you take all that away and strip down to what that movie really is, it's a character study of Thanos. And that's why it works so well. So I think that's why I think like Books of Doom would be fucking dope to see interspersed with shit that's going on. But you got this guy's story about like, because it's weird. Like it's a weird fucking story. This guy who is like kind of tossed out. His parents are like treated like shit. His mother is killed by like this, like this king or whatever of Latveria, or like a viceroy kind of guy, and like he goes and takes that guy down because because he killed his mom and everything else. He takes that guy down, but that guy wears the fucking green tunic, the tunic and the fucking cloak. He takes it and he's like, "Fuck that, that's mine." Like he builds a suit and he takes the thing and he's like, I'm gonna rock this shit now. Now I'm the fucking king. Like you see the like little builds of his personality and of his style. It slowly comes together in that story to that final reveal of like, that's the fucking Doom that you know. Because Doom to me, and I'm sure Mike is just like, yes, it's so fucking awesome. But Doom to me, and why I think Micah likes Doom so much, and I think why he is such he's literally the inspiration for fucking Darth Vader, for God's sake. But the reason why he's such a good character is because he is a character that they have done those deep dives on in the comics. Like, what the fuck is this guy's problem? Yeah. He's the villain that they decided when they remade the entire universe. Who would be the God character who would have done all this? Fucking Doom. Because of course. The only guy to wield 2 fucking infinity gauntlets at the same time. Or the first to do it. Yeah. Like, he's a fucking psycho. But he legitimately believes that the world is better because of him. Like, it's better under his reign. Like, he literally convinced the fucking Panther God. It was like, what are you doing in Wakanda? He was like, no, I truly believe it'll be better if I rule. And he's like, Panther God's like, you're a piece of shit, but you do really believe this. You could go. Like, because he believes it. Like, he's not bullshit. He doesn't have an ulterior motive. He's like, the world would be better if I ruled it. 100% he believes that. Yeah. So I think that's been Marvel's thing, is like digging a little deeper into these villains. I think you need them. I think you have to have them be more complex than just the weird opposite of the hero.
Okay. So now, would that be better served on Disney Plus as opposed to the movies?
Sure. I think since Kevin Feige's overseeing a lot of those Disney Plus things, I don't see why you couldn't do. You could do a 6-part series that's Books of Doom, let's say, and then give Dr. Doom because this stuff is hard connected to the movie universe, and then throw him into the movie universe. Why not?
Terrence, what do you think about the idea of introducing characters through Disney Plus and then throwing them in the movies, and then just do the backfill that way, so therefore you're not wasting time?
It would, because I was going to ask, like, after Endgame, we're going to have like a new crop of characters coming out, and
a lot of them.
Yeah, and like that would be a lot of fucking origin stories that I'm not trying to see. Like, it would start to become fatigue. So that would actually probably be a better way to actually do it. If you put them, I mean, but you got to have Disney Plus.
That's the thing, right? That's the thing. It's like, how do you do that?
Yeah. I don't want to see a bunch of origin stories anymore. No. Like, I've spent 10 years watching a bunch of origin stories now, and people were saying, okay, eventually we're going to start to become fatigued with these superhero movies. Like, that would basically start to become my fatigue. Like, I don't care. Just get to where we want to go. Like, right. You got to get to the culmination of 10 years of movies, and that shit was amazing. I'm assuming it's going to be amazing. Like, I don't want to start over,
and that's why I think a lot of people are like, I think the MCU is dead after this.
I don't think it's going to be dead, but like, it's going to... No, they got to work. They got to work.
From what I understand, what you're saying is they need to be in second act all the time.
That's what comics are. Comics are in second act.
Like, I don't... Look, man.
Again, they should know what they're doing then.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. That I mean, that's a really good point. A really good conversation. Like, that's going to be super interesting. Like, after Thanos and all this shit gets put back together, or however it is, like, the only real origin, like, and it can't even be an origin story, right? I don't want to see the X-Men. I don't want to see the X-Men in a situation where it's like, this is Cyclops and this is Wolverine. I want them to be fully fucking realized. The only thing I want is as an audience member to go, this is physically my first time seeing them. Cool. They should already be running. You know what I mean? Like, I want them to figure out a way to do it. Yeah, of course it's going to be really difficult, but I want them to figure out a way for the X-Men to be revealed to the rest of the universe by saying, these guys have already been doing things. We didn't know who it was, right? I don't want to be like, I think I'll become an X-Man. Fuck all that. Cyclops, you are already the leader of this team. Let's get moving. You know, like that's what I want to see. Or if they are early on, like, they need to be already aware of their powers, like, already. I don't have time for Cyclops to be like, how does this visor work? Like, fuck all that. We spent 18 years with them working in the fucking, the kids camp of Fox. I want to see them running as adults.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know. It's just my thoughts. But if Kevin Feige is on the same page as we all are as far as everything is second act.
Yeah, listen up, Kevin Feige. Listen to us.
You know, then
you have a lot to learn.
The first thing we're going to see with the X-Men is probably going to be blue and gold teams. Because
I'd like to think so.
Because I mean, think about it. I mean, why?
Although I'd really like to see just the original team just once.
That would be a flashback, but it'd be a flashback.
No, that could work too.
Let that be a flashback. But with the way that he did Spider-Man, there's no reason to believe that he would go to an origin story with a character that's already been well established when he said himself. You've already seen him in the Sony movies. Right. That's an idea.
Yeah. That's a good point, right? Like, the X-Men are not unfamiliar to anybody.
No, they're not.
Right.
So he's smart. He's smart. And he understands that people will Google if they need to. Or ask their friends who've been into this shit.
We have the answers. So.
Yeah, you know, so...
Yeah, that's a good point.
Don't do that shit during the movie.
Oh, God.
Do it before you get to the theater, my nigga, please.
Yeah, I like after. The only thing I had to tell my wife, because she's missed a number of these movies, I was like, this takes place in 1995. That's it. And she was like, okay. I was like, all the other stuff, because they showed the trailer for Endgame, not this newest one. They showed the previous Endgame trailer, and she was like, the fuck is going on? Why is everyone so sad? And I was like, they lost. I'll explain to you later.
She didn't see Infinity War?
She hasn't seen it yet. She hasn't seen Guardians. Oh. Yeah, she is. She was like, we need to watch all of these. I was like, I've been fucking saying that for 3 years. Stop working so much. You know, you're supposed to be doing entertainment only, obviously. That's how it pays the bills. So yeah, it's I do you think, Terrence, your point about the origin stories I think is a good one. Do you think Spider-Man Homecoming, was that the type of origin story that you found to be okay, or is that fatiguing as well?
I didn't feel like it was an origin story
at all.
I didn't think it was.
I didn't think so either.
Yeah, like that's fine.
Because you knew.
Like, everyone knows Spider-Man. Like, everybody knows. People that don't know comic books knows who the fuck Spider-Man is.
It's like asking somebody, do you know the origin of Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man? Everyone knows.
The thing is, like, Shang-Chi is probably going to make a lot of money, but I don't know who the fuck that nigga is at all.
He's not in Marvel vs. Capcom.
So I don't...
but see, the thing is, I think it... Again, if you backfill him...
Yeah, you have to put him in something else before his own movie.
But that also, by the way, that's a part of the... Look, Black Panther made $1 billion, and it was great, and we all loved it, and we're black as fuck, and it was awesome, right? That's why we were there. It was probably going to do super well anyway. The fact that you got to see him in Civil War kicking ass, you were like, yo, they got this nigga right. This shit is dope. I want to see 2 hours of that shit. Yeah. That's what really works. And it was the same with Spider-Man, right? Like, yeah, Spider-Man isn't in Civil War as much as Black Panther. Not by far, not as much. But that scene of him taking on Falcon and Winter Soldier, you were like, yo, this guy's like talking the whole time. He's making jokes and shit. You were like, yeah, that's the Spider-Man I want. That's who I want. I'm gonna go see Homecoming.
I remember seeing or seeing a video or reading an article saying that most of the new introductions of characters was going to be done in tandem because they have so many that they want to bring in, but they have to do it in a way that that doesn't make it seem as stale. Only reason Captain Marvel seems stale to you is because it was by the
exact same numbers.
Right, same by the numbers. But see. Yeah. It to Marvel and to certain groups that wasn't an event film. That was an event film because it was the first female superhero.
Yeah, I feel like you kind of have to do that one.
Yeah, because they did that with Ant-Man and the Wasp, and to a certain degree, she was lost in the shuffle, but she wasn't. But she was.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, so they needed to have that standout. Give the women the win. Yeah. You know, give the black folks the win with Black Panther. Shang-Chi, I bet you, as much as we're talking about new characters right now, and what we saw in that trailer today, if they're going back in time to change things because they all got on their quantum suits and shit, someone's going to do something that's going to make mutants explode. And not explode in a bad way, but just like, populate the earth that
something is like, everyone's like, well, they're not allowed to talk about the other movies. Dude, there is no way that there is not something in that stinger for this movie that gives you an implication of mutants or something like that. They have to. They'd be like, this is your one opportunity to go, oh yeah, remember that thing we like tripped over in the quantum realm? Oh yeah, that caused all of this shit to happen. Of course. Yeah. Oh. So we'll see. I mean, again, I'm very interested to see what Marvel does going forward. But look, here's another thing, right? This story is really great. Kevin Feige, when asked about, spoiler alert for Captain America or Captain Marvel, at the end of Captain Marvel, you find out that the Skrulls that they meet are good, right? They're good people. But everyone thought, me included, that the Skrulls would likely be the next big villain, right? They would try to do a secret invasion story. And now they're like, oh, see, now all the Skrulls are good, so it's fine. Or they're sympathetic characters. And Kevin Feige gets interviewed and he says, quote, I don't think it means that at all. I think it means that the Skrulls are as diverse and a multi-layered as any other intelligent life form, certainly like humanity itself. And we saw the good ones. I think there are probably ones out there as well, like the ones, like any of the ones fully realized characters that we saw. So basically, yeah, this one faction was good. That doesn't mean all Skrulls are good. Mm-hmm. They're trying to get back to their planet or trying to find a new planet. That doesn't mean all the Skrulls are trying to do that. And like the Kree, they're fucking assholes, but that doesn't mean they're wrong about the Skrulls. They could be absolutely right about this invasion.
There is no way in Full Hells that they wouldn't have a Super Skrull.
No.
I mean, come on.
You're not going to take you're not going to do the Fantastic Four and not do Clerk. You're not going to. That's insane.
So that's
do you know I was going to say I'm pretty sure he was. He's a dope ass character though.
Yeah. He was cool in that game.
Yeah, he's got all 4 of their powers. That's insane. like that is such a 90s idea. They were like, we'll just give him all his powers. Like, wait, why?
Huh?
Because 90s.
But the thing is, he used it seamlessly.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having an invisible fist made of rock stretch from 2?
What kind of fucking superpowers are those? Yo, your cheat codes are like crazy.
No bullshit. Game Genie had this bitch. Just came out of
nowhere. Like, wait, what happened? Like, boom. Yeah, but
I woke up and something happened.
But I mean, look, you think about it. If you're doing the Skrulls and you find you do all this to like make the Skrulls fully realized, because the funny thing is the vision of the Skrulls that we were shown, like the concept art, they looked very different than the Skrulls that we saw in Captain Marvel. These looked more humanoid, but the other ones looked a little bit more vicious. Like, if you remember the concept art, I could see that being the more militant sort of wing of the Skrulls, or the vast majority of them.
I can see that.
And there certainly is one that I was like, so that's definitely Clerk, right? Like, that's definitely Super Skrull, because that's what he looked like. But I could see an idea of them slowly building to Secret Invasion, because then you could bring in, if you build it over so many years, right? And just who to trust, who's not to trust, all that other stuff, right? Build that story. Secret Invasion also includes the X-Men as fighting alongside the Avengers. And you could do it. You could just build the X-Men at the same time and bring them up. Or they show up when these guys show up and they're like, yo, what the fuck are these doing here? Like, we got to defend this shit alongside the Avengers. You can do it. You can pull it off.
Secret Invasion seems to be something that
it's years down the line.
I know, but it's years down the line with these new crop of characters. You can't have a Skrull as Captain America, or a Skrull that was a Black Widow or some shit like that. Like,
she's sticking around.
I'm pretty sure. Well, I'm pretty sure most of these characters are gone. I think
we'll see.
Not dead gone, but gone. Like they've passed the torch. We have a new crop of Avengers.
Oh, that's
and that would be those would be the the ones who are impersonated by the Skrulls.
Yeah. I got to tell you, everybody is so sure Cap is going to die. I'm not so sure.
No, I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think you give Kevin I don't just look at the stuff that's on screen. I also look at the stuff that's happening behind the scenes. I don't think you give Chris Evans directing rights to do shit on Disney Plus that are Marvel properties unless you want to keep him close to the vest. Mm-hmm. You want to keep him in-house. So it'd be like, no, take some time, eat some cheeseburgers, relax, take a couple years off, maybe do a cameo here or there. No big deal. No big deal. I think you get him like past the Shield kind of shit to Falcon or Winter Soldier. Let him direct a couple of things because he wants to direct. And I think you go, hey Chris, come on back home.
How old is Chris Evans?
Do like, because he doesn't have, if he's Captain America down the road, he doesn't have to be in 3 solo movies.
No.
He could get Super Jet and then he's off for 3 years. Super Jet comes off for 3 years.
He doesn't have to be Captain America. He could be the director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
Because that's an older gentleman, without the super serum. But who should get the S.H.I.E.L.D.?
It should be Winter Soldier.
Why?
Because, look, I like Sam Wilson as Cap. I actually, the comics, I don't want Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, no.
I don't see it. Also, like the whole thing with Sam doesn't really make sense because he doesn't have the strength to throw that shield like he does. I guess he's just using gravity. Like, I got to go into a dive and then throw it.
He's got bird-like bones, so it's like they're hollow.
He's like avian bone syndrome.
There you go.
But I did like the Winter Soldier as Cap for a while, although he was like slightly a little too violent. but I could see Bucky getting into that, and I think Sebastian Stan is very good. So I could see him rocking a costume for a while. But I just don't think you keep Evans in house like that for him to walk away all the way. I don't think so. Not now. I know. I think I could totally see Downey retiring, but I don't think they're going to kill him. I don't think so. I mean, I'm just basing that on what Feige said years ago, which is he sees Iron Man like a James Bond character. You could just you keep him around, but you just change the actor. Why the fuck would you kill off Iron Man at this point? It makes no sense. Now, Tony can retire, or excuse me, Robert Downey Jr. can retire from that role.
But there is nobody else that can play that role.
Never know. People say that. Say that about a lot of things. Nobody can replace Hugh Jackman. We'll see.
I think someone can replace Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, see,
I think so too.
Yeah.
Thing is, I didn't feel like Hugh Jackman was Logan until Logan.
See,
he was cool. Because
I think he's a pretty synonymous actor with that. Although I would agree with you, like as far as the character itself,
right? Just because of the writing, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah, that's not his fault.
Okay, no, it's not. X-Men 1, X-Men 2, okay, that's him. Logan, that's him.
Yeah.
X-Men 3, no.
I don't know her.
Okay, not even gonna.
The rest of them were bad.
Yeah. And the X-Men Origins, and then
I still have never seen the non-bootleg version of that movie. I haven't. I saw the bootleg and I was like, "This." I was mad that I watched the bootleg of that movie.
Man. But yeah, I don't. And maybe Days of Future Past. Those are the only times that I can see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine that cannot be replaced. But there were so many movies where...
You know what? I would argue the Wolverine, too. Not the last third. Last third's bad.
Okay.
Or that last fight was bad. But I thought he was really fucking good in that movie. Also, he looked the most like Wolverine in that movie.
Yeah.
Because...
He was shredded as fuck.
He was shredded as fuck. But he was like... They just had him pack on so much weight. He just looked like he weighed 300 pounds. He was just a fucking tank.
I only saw that movie once.
Yeah, I liked it. I saw it in theaters. I hated that. Yeah,
I need to see
all those movies. You don't really need to see multiple times.
No,
but see, the thing is, like just in conversations like this, where you bring it up and you're trying to remember the best parts of the movie, and like you remember seeing it in the movie theater. Like, well, then wait, was the cemetery scene a good fight scene, or am I supposed to be paying attention to the part where he was trying to figure out if he wanted to keep his powers, and if that was something that was meaningful? Like
that last like 20 minutes of that movie was hot ass garbage.
Like you brought out this mecha this Metal Gear Solid type shit to fight Wolverine.
Yo, that shit was so dumb. I was like, why is any of this in this movie?
And he tried to get his bone marrow?
Yeah, it is fucking stupid. Like, they just didn't give a fuck about that. All right, next up. We already said this, but Disney has set March 20th for their acquisition of 20th Century Fox. That's
next Wednesday or Thursday.
Yep. I believe it's next Thursday.
21st.
Oh, it's Thursday 21st? Okay. So next Wednesday. Okay. Good. My only question is what's going to happen to New Mutants? Because those reshoots did not happen. And my guess is they're not going to happen before Wednesday. So when that movie comes to streaming, it is going to be fucking terrible because it has no reshoots, and I can't wait to see it. I can't wait. Hot ass garbage. So yeah, that's all I have to say really about that. Good. Finally, X-Men and Fantastic Four can come home. Thank God. So I didn't feel like doing, or I couldn't think of a question of the week. So I came up with this new idea that hasn't been seen anywhere else. What do you people want us to talk about? What? Brian says, you could just shit talk members of the fan group. Yeah, Brian, you suck. Next question. We like everybody. Most of you.
Yeah.
Tammy says, Hidden Gems on Netflix. It's killing me. More people don't know or talk about Sense8, River or The Five. Hell Dark is freaking amazing too, and it's getting no love.
I've heard Sense8.
Yeah, I haven't heard of these other ones. Okay.
I don't know what River or The Five is.
Yeah, The Five is a show on Fox News where
that's what
they bring one guy on to debate 5 women, and they act like fucking morons. That's the only 5 I know. Yeah. So I hope that's not what you're talking about. Do you have any hidden gems on Netflix that you've been watching?
No. All of the documentaries I've already recommended.
Yeah, we generally talk about that.
I haven't really heard of it. I haven't seen much.
Yeah.
That I haven't told about anybody.
Homeland.
The Practice.
Yeah, you want to talk about The Practice?
The Practice.
You watching Grey's Anatomy?
No, that's the
Boston Legal.
I didn't know that Boston Legal was a spinoff.
All right. We're done with you. No,
I don't know if it's a hidden gem, but Frankie and Grace. Or Grace and Frankie.
Grace and Frankie,
it's a very good show. You've never seen it.
That's an easy watch, man.
Yeah.
It's a super easy watch. Those old chicks are fucking wild. What's the woman's name?
Damn it. I don't remember the 2 women's names.
The one I would still sleep with to this day.
Jane Fonda?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I would. Yo, she's a good looking. She's 80. She's fucking 80 years old. She has definitely had some surgery, though. Oof. She's got huge fake boobs. It's kind of hilarious.
I think, didn't, what's her name, call her out on that?
Oh, yeah, they do.
No, she had an interview. That chick interviewed her, and she's like, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about my plastic surgery for?
Yeah, that's right.
The chick from Fox.
Yeah, that's right.
That was on ABC. Can't remember her goddamn name. Whatever.
Fuck. Kelly.
Yeah.
You know.
Kelly.
Not Kelly and Conway. What is her name? Oh, she's horrible. I can't remember her name. She's the one that said Santa's white. He just is.
Yeah, did you?
What?
Yeah. Yeah. And that was pretty much the internet's response. Like, Santa isn't real. Like, Santa's just white. He just is.
Yeah, Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda are the 2. Sam Waterston, he's funny in it. Yeah, that's a wild show.
It's 2 old retired women who run a company that makes dildos.
Yeah, and their husbands divorced them and got married themselves because
to each other. Yeah. Yo, and it's Martin Sheen and I can't remember.
Yeah, Martin Sheen and Sam Waterston.
Yeah. And it's hilarious because like those 2 guys are really like seminal veteran actors and they're very good, but it's so funny because like anytime they have to like touch each other, it's so like, fucking awkward. They're just like, I love him. Like, it's hilarious. Like, no, give me a kiss. And it's like, I don't want to. It's so fucking awkward. But like they do it, but you can tell they're just like, just cut away. Just cut away. Like, I agreed to do the role. I'm fine. I'm not a homophobe, but I don't really want to make out with a dude. I just don't. It's cool. I believe in rights, equal rights. It's fine. But please don't make me kiss Martin Sheen again. Gustavo says, "Where is my no time to bleed, Jay? You owe us like 10." That is correct. That is Terrence's fault. I'm going to pass the buck. No, it is not. Look, we're just like super busy. We're trying to get one together very, very soon. I am going to try to get these guys in a room so we can do a number of them so we can get them back out. So I apologize to premium members. That is my fault trying to corral everybody together.
We still haven't done Aliens 2.
We haven't done a lot of things. We haven't done Conan the Barbarian, so these guys can finally That's right. They're going to do another one soon. You'll be 100 years old. Yan says, your most off-the-wall theories about Endgame. Ooh. Do you have any? I have a crazy one. A crazy one I heard. It's not really mine, but I have a crazy one.
Go for it.
Because the movie is supposedly has time travel in it, some people think that Kang the Conqueror will show up and will be more of the main villain than Thanos. Because he's a time traveler. And if you go back to they didn't come up with this part, but I remember this. If you go back to the Disney XD cartoon, the Avengers Assemble cartoon, when Kang shows up, he has a real problem with Steve Rogers. He's trying to kill him because he did something that fucked with time, or like some event that he did, like fucked with this guy's future. So I could see that, like, them going back in time and doing something, and then Kang showing up because Steve Rogers or one of the other Avengers, or all of them, did something to fuck it up, and he shows up and he wants to take them on. That's a super off-the-wall theory. I don't think that's going to happen, by the way, but it's a super off-the-wall theory. Also, the joke theory is that Ant-Man beats Thanos by shrinking down, going up his butt, and then becoming full size again, blowing his ass out. So, I mean, I guess that's probably a thing. Twitter is full of idiots. It's just this.
I don't have it.
You don't have it?
No.
Personally, I think that they're going to make their own version of the Infinity Gauntlet and remake everything where they don't exist, where Thanos doesn't exist. And the only thing is, and then like when that happens, all of the other characters that we're supposed to see are now populating the Earth. It's like they're basically going to make a
pocket universe.
Yeah, because now we're going to, because the quantum realm is all about the multiverse. That was their way of explaining between multiple universes and time travel. Those are going to have some sort of intersect, right? So if they're going to different time periods and gaining different Infinity Stones,
interesting.
In order to see, in the comics, it doesn't work that way because the way that the Infinity Stones work is if you bring an Infinity Stone from another Earth, it only works in that universe. It doesn't work the same way as it does in ours. But this is the movies.
They can do whatever you want. They're Infinity Stones.
They can do whatever they want. So therefore, if they're building their own, because they still have the mold for the Infinity Gauntlet, because at Nidavellir, right? So they can get that made. Then they go to different time periods to acquire the stones, and then Thanos senses something. Something disturbs the force or whatever, and then something happens with one of the Infinity Stones to say that there's a double or some shit. Yeah. And then that's when the conflict comes into play. And in order to save everybody who's been snapped, they sacrifice themselves, or I think at least just maybe Steve Rogers. I don't know. They sacrifice themselves and then they bring everyone back, but then they do it in a separate world. So it's no longer 616. It's like Marvel 2. And that's why when we fast forward and Monica Rambeau is now in her 30s and she's about to be Photon or some shit like that. And this is where you get all the new crop of Avengers.
Interesting. Yeah, that's pretty off the wall theory. All right. I like it. Lan says, just was curious if you guys are going to discuss the case of Aned Syed's docuseries on HBO next week, because I'm going to watch that this weekend. So look for that.
Isn't it just the same thing? Rehashed? They just put it into like animated form? And they just had like, it basically is kind of like, what's that? What was a Netflix joint? The Making a Murderer?
Yeah.
But this is like, I think the second half of this is just kind of like what happened after.
Yeah, because he had a second trial or what have you.
Is he still in jail?
Yes, but I don't know if he was refound guilty or it's not done. I honestly don't know. So I
do want to watch it though.
Yeah, I'm going to check that out this weekend. So we'll talk about that next week. Carrie says talk about how good the soundtrack to Captain Marvel was. Look, I like the 90s, so I was all in.
Sure.
So, yeah, I don't have much to say about it, but I have that playlist in my Spotify. So
TLC was in there.
I don't like Waterfalls by TLC. I don't. I hate that song.
Why?
Did you hear it too much?
I think so.
Is that what it was? Because that song was on every 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Back in 1994.
I prefer. I think if they could have played anything surrounding TLC, I would have rather heard No Pigeons.
No Pigeons.
Do you remember that?
There's no Scrubs.
You remember they did No Scrubs, and then it was like the rapper, I forget who it was, did No Pigeons?
Yeah.
I would rather hear No Pigeons. No Pigeons.
I do not remember that.
That shit was hilarious.
It was pretty
I don't like needle drop soundtracks.
Really?
No.
That's interesting.
They bother me. They just do. Like, remember the 90s? I'm like, yes, I was alive.
I was alive.
Jesus Christ. That was another thing I was just like, okay. All right.
That's interesting. You are a terrible person. Terrell says, speaking of terrible people, Terrell says, no, shout out to Terrell. What do you think about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or at least Coulson making an appearance in Endgame? Or do you think they'll pass out cry buckets at the theaters for the Avengers movie? I would love to see the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. character show up in Endgame. That would be really fun. I think just one moment of a fucking Ghost Rider portal opening up.
Oh, shit.
And having just like some nameless enemies getting knocked down, and you recognize it's Quake's fucking power, and they walk through. Nigga, I'll go crazy in that theater. I will go crazy. You know that video, that YouTube video, like the dad when he's driving, he's just playing the music, he's hitting his son and shit. Yeah, no, that would be me. Like I would be fucking hyped if that happened. Like I would love that. That would be. This is not a theory, but that would be a really awesome thing. Is that all the bullshit that everyone's like, there's no way they're gonna have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. There's no way Ghost Rider's gonna be, and they were just like, fuck you, they're all in it, and they just did like Luke Cage. All those motherfuckers were there. But then, that shit would be wild because you would never see it coming.
I
don't really need Luke Cage there.
And that's true. I was just talking about the multiverse and like different Earths or whatever. They don't even need to do that because they're all a part of the same universe.
Yeah.
Because they keep referring to 2012 as the incident.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, man. Like,
fuck it.
They should be portaling in there. You're right.
Like, that would actually be kind of cool. Like, a moment where they're, like, traveling around, like, in time or whatever, and they just travel back, and they just, like, they pop out in New York and fucking Daredevil's there, like, hey, what the fuck are you guys doing here? And he's just like, oh, gotta go. It's just like, just bounce.
But see, that's what if
it's like little shit.
What if they discover all the other people in the world who have powers or whatnot, and like they need help? And it's like, go get them. And then the last minute in that third act, you just see pop, 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 pop.
Yo, I'm telling you, if they did that, you could never say anything about the Marvel Cinematic Universe again, about like it's not all connected. You couldn't say anything. You'd have to shut the fuck up. Because if Ghost Rider shows up in that movie, that's it. That's it for me. That's it. I'm just like, fuck. Did you see that shit?
Who's the villain in Endgame? Because isn't the gauntlet essentially broken?
Well, that's the theory about the Kang the Conqueror thing. It's like if Thanos is
like it still has power because remember he used it.
He snapped his finger and that shit just melted.
If you slow down that scene, and I've seen this. If you slow down the scene after he snaps,
yo, this is some practice bullshit. Go ahead and tell us.
If you slow down the scene, you can see him use the time gem to heal himself as he's falling back into a portal.
Interesting.
So the thing is, he might still be injured to a certain degree, but he's healing himself by rewinding time to mend that shit. So
the
wound that Stormbreaker got put into his chest. Yeah, like he's healing himself as he's falling backwards. So that means that the gauntlet still works. You know, the gems, the stones still work.
Just the gauntlet's fucked.
Right. You know.
So who's going to make him a new gauntlet? Because he needs the gauntlet
to wield them all. He can still. Right. It might be fucked, but it's still viable. Because he was using it as he was teleporting away.
And that one stone.
He was using not only the space stone, but he was also using the time stone to heal himself.
Yeah, at the same time.
Whereas before, we had never seen him use two at the same time. We only saw him using just one. Yeah. But if you slow it down, you see green and blue flash as he's falling back. Come on.
Okay. I'm super interested in how. I don't know if they'll. I can't imagine you don't do Thanos as the main, but maybe you don't. You don't. I mean, the end of the Infinity Crusade, they basically leave Thanos on like a planet, and he's just like a farmer, like just like how he is in the beginning of the trailer for this one. Like they take the gauntlet and reverse everything or whatever, and they just fucking leave his ass there. Which is why he's a constant thorn in their side. I'm like, just kill him.
See, you all don't keep up with the Flash, right?
The show?
Right.
No. What?
Okay. So
is Godspeed there now?
He's coming.
Have they shown him?
Only in spy photos. The suit that I showed you.
The suit looks dope. Yeah. I have to admit, it looks really good.
Okay, so in the Flash, they had this whole rule where if you fuck with time to a certain degree, or if you're spending too much time traveling through time, then you have time remnants that follow you.
Yeah, they fuck you up.
They fuck you up, right? Okay. What if that is Kang? Kang, he's right. He's like from like the 32nd century or some shit like that. And he's from the future. So he's seeing like all these disturbances because the Avengers are going and picking up Infinity Stones.
Right.
From different time periods. Things are being knocked out of whack. He comes back to handle that situation.
Right, and that's exactly what I was saying earlier. Yeah. Like, it's not that crazy of a theory. It would be wild that they've kept it under wraps this well. Like, who's playing him?
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck is that guy? But maybe they did. They're putting out trailers that they're not telling anything past the first 20 to 30 minutes. They've got the clout that they could do it.
Yeah. All they had to do is really just say Avengers Endgame and the date. And people would be there like, it was amazing.
Yeah. Like, you didn't need a trailer. I'm thankful for them, but you didn't need a trailer. But if they kept that under wraps and it's something like Kang is showing up and that, like, that would be a crazy thing for them to figure out how to pull that off without no one knowing that. No spy shots, no nothing. I mean, look.
Inside the studio, soundstage.
Yeah, you'd have to.
Yeah.
But, like, who's that famous? Why the fuck is Tom Cruise there? Like, like, you'd wonder who the fuck it is. It would have to be someone who either no one recognizes or their voice is so interesting that it's like a voice actor, and that's just, that's who it is.
See, the thing is, like, Kang is who? Kang is originally somebody.
I can't remember. I don't know.
But he was like an Avenger or something like that at some point in time that evolved. I remember. I don't know. Someone's on.
Yeah, I would have to go back and read.
I remember him being someone important.
Yeah. So I don't know. Iman says, I guess, give us some speculation on a sequel to Captain Marvel, why she never was called for the first two Avenger movies. Kevin Feige actually spoke about this. He said that, how do you know she wasn't? You don't know that Sam Jackson didn't press the button.
He was like,
it's just not working. You don't know. So he was like, that all will be revealed. But as far as a sequel for her movie, they've all but said that Kamala Khan will show up.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's kind of early.
They didn't say that she'd become Miss Marvel. They said that she would show up. I think you establish her. Sure. Establish her. Like, she looks up to Carol. Like, Carol is her fucking icon. Establish her early.
How?
Again,
she hasn't been around in 20 years.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We don't know the time frame between Endgame and when Captain Marvel 2 comes out. She will probably be in multiple things. She has like a 9-picture deal.
7-picture deal.
A 7-picture deal. Yeah, she can be in more things.
Okay. I'm just saying, like, it for her, between Kamala Khan and now you got Monica Rambeau, that is obviously, an influence, because what, 1995 or whatever, she was what, 12? She's got to be at least 30 something now, right? So why would they jump to Kamala Khan?
Because Kamala Khan is a bigger character. But think about it. If you're talking about, again, you're talking about characters like Peter Parker who are young, maybe even Tom Alexander who is young. You need a Kamala Khan. You need a young crop of heroes. Now you can also do Monica Rambeau, and she's an adult. She's another adult hero. So you could do both. Yeah. You just space them out differently what their motivations are.
That's greedy though.
What's up?
That's greedy.
I mean, they got $18 billion. Man. Like, that's what they do. Trey says, talk about how apparently myself and others who wash dishes are punk ass marks and not rational guys. Wait, what?
We wash dishes.
Who the fuck don't wash dishes? If you don't wash dishes, you're a punk ass mark. Get out of here. That's gross.
I don't understand that question at all.
Yeah, I don't understand.
What?
Yeah, I don't. It's very West Coast.
Is it punk ass Mark or Mark ass Trick?
Both.
Trick ass Mark. Your California slang is
Buster.
Buster. Yo, Californian dude sounded mad corny when they said that. Leonardo says, do a dab for an animated GIF. Okay. That I'm gonna regret that. I'm gonna regret that.
I'm like,
yeah,
okay,
that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, and actually, if you look up the Nerdpocalypse on Giphy.com, we have a series of animated GIFs if you want to use them. Feel free. Also, by the way, you know who has a really funny animated GIF page on Giphy? MSNBC. Like, they have some fucking hilarious ones on there of like all their reporters. It's really funny. Lisa says, is Brightburn based on an actual Marvel DC character, or is it just purely a concept rooted in an alternate version of Superman being evil? I'm so interested in that movie. The latter. It's just a concept film. Look, I think it looks really dope. I like it. I hope they do a whole universe of like twisted versions of that. Like I'm cool with that. I'll skip around. Johnny, drums or flats?
Flats.
Drums.
Flats.
Yeah. Drums.
Yeah. The clear answer is chicken wings. Because black. I will eat drums or flats. Like, I will never turn down.
The thing is, like,
I'm actually might order wings.
The flats require you to eat the end, split it apart, suck the meat off the two bones there, and then finish it off with finish off the last piece, right, that you're holding on to. The drums just require you just to turn that bitch.
Yeah, flats. I don't fucking care. Yeah. Like, look,
that's so funny. That's a very well researched argument. Thank you, Mr. The Practice. Flats.
No, I ask for flats if I can get them.
Really?
Yeah.
I go drumsticks every time
because there's more meat. Yeah,
that's debatable.
But the thing is, there's more. I think, isn't it more dark meat on the?
I don't know. I just like flats more.
Dark meat or drums or legs?
Yeah, I guess it's all. Yeah, I guess it's all dark meat then.
Yeah, flats. It's better for dipping in the fucking
bullshit. Bullshit. No, it is not.
Yeah, they are.
No,
like I know drums. You like roll? Nah, fuck all that. I like flats.
See, you're not reasonable right now.
How am I not reasonable?
Yeah, no, it is not. Look, I will give you that you like flats over drums. I will allow you to be wrong there, but they are not easier for dipping. That's bullshit. No, that's science, my man. Like, scientists have discovered that drums are in fact easier to dip in ranch and or blue cheese.
I'll take flats.
Yeah, all right.
Why do you think they charge you more for flats?
Because they know
only
idiots.
fools. Yeah,
because they're the better cut. Whatever.
They're the better
cut.
They're the better part of the.
I don't think we've ever gotten into a more heated battle than over drums versus flats.
They're flats. Flats are better.
It's obviously drums. Anyway,
sugar or salt and pepper in your grits.
No, get the fuck out. If you put sugar in your grits, you get out of my. You get out of his house.
I put all of it. I don't care.
No, wait.
What's wrong with you?
No, hold on. You like sweet grits? Man, see, now I'm switching to flats. What the fuck, dude? What the fuck? Come on.
Wait.
No, I'll do salt. No, I'll do salt.
You put sugar and cream of wheat.
No. I'll do butter. I'll do butter, salt, and pepper. Okay.
That's fine. Okay.
And then at some point in time, I'll get another bowl scoop of grits. Put some sugar in that bitch. You know, I like the different tastes. Yeah, it's still grits.
Yeah, that's greedy. You see?
Yeah, it's grits, but like,
nah,
it's
one of them is wrong.
I mean, look, that is correct. Actually, one of them is wrong, very wrong.
Sugar grits? Nah.
Both of them.
Again, cream of wheat. You put sugar in.
I don't like cream of wheat.
When was the last time you've been?
Same shit.
When was the last time you've been to Miss Sally's?
Miss
Miss Shirley's. Excuse me. Miss Shirley's. Miss Shirley's Cafe. They put sugar in their grits.
I don't know what are their grits.
No, I didn't. I did have
They push.
Miss Shirley is dead, and white people run that restaurant.
But
I'm just saying.
All I'm saying is they cook the grits in sugar, and then they sprinkle bacon on top of the shits. But then put the little like parsley.
Okay,
on it.
I might be inclined to try that.
Think about it.
Wait a minute.
You might be changing my mind.
Like the bacon part is what caught my eye.
Yeah, because that's got salt on it, nigga. Yeah.
It's sweet and savory. There you go.
What do they do with the shrimp and grits? Do they make shrimp and grits? I know they do.
No, nobody puts sugar on grits with shrimp and grits.
No.
You get into a fist fight. No, I'm coming to the kitchen and fuck you up over that. All right, don't do that.
No, they do that.
You gotta die.
Have you had the Chesapeake omelet?
Wait, Miss Shirley?
Yeah.
No.
The Chesapeake omelet is crab meat inside of it, and then like they dust it with Old Bay.
I have had that. That's I'm not a fan.
Not a fan?
No. Too much. Again, the answer is drums. Anyway, and we all agree. Malcolm says, shut up. Malcolm says, also, what's the worst character design? Crash Test Dummy Doom or Cholo Sinister? It's gotta be Cholo Sinister, dude.
I don't even know what that is.
Mr. Sinister, when they did him in the Ultimate Universe, he was just like a Mexican guy with a wife beater on. I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? They didn't give a shit. They were like, nah, he got the diamond. Cholo. Like, all right. Cholo Sinister is pretty bad. It's offensive to Cholos. Is Cholo an offensive term?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
But
like paddy wagon or niggardly?
niggardly.
Yeah, that's a funny word. It is.
Niggardly.
White people are not allowed to use that phrase.
Here he is right here. Wow.
What?
He
looks like a
white beater on.
He's got a beater on.
Okay.
That was his uniform.
Wow.
Amir says, this is a bullshit question. With Devil May Cry 5 coming out and being as good as it is, would you want to see Netflix anime to continue after 5 or be a story during the Devil May Cry 3 timeline? I don't know what any of this means, Terrence. You're a DMC fan.
I gotta get DMC first.
I've never seen any of the Devil May Cry anime. I think I saw like the first 2 episodes. With the revelations of 5, like Dante probably wouldn't be the main character. I would like to see them have different characters in there. That would be cool.
This is a sequel to Devil May Cry 4, right?
Yeah.
So that means that Nero is the main character.
There's 3 characters in this one.
Okay. So they just completely dismissed DMC altogether.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
That's no longer canon. That was
never was canon.
Okay.
That was just like a whatever.
All right. Because I didn't want to go back to the series after that.
DMC 3. The order is DMC 3, DMC I believe DMC 2, then 4, and then this one. Or maybe 2 is.
No, I thought DMC 1. That was when you first like fought Mundus.
Yeah.
Right? And so that wasn't the
chronologically is 3, 1, 2, 4, 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And 2 sucks, so you don't even have to.
Right. I remember 2 being terrible.
3, 1, 4, 5, basically, because 2 sucks.
All right, because I've got the special edition of DMC 4, but where you could play all the characters, including Trish and all that. Yeah. But I just decided, all right, I'm gonna leave that alone, and then go back to Destiny. And now that Destiny is where we are with this Gambit and the 700 power, bro. It's okay.
Play Apex Legends. Anyway,
no.
What the fuck brought to you by JTD. Demetrius, you are up.
Oh, okay. Skip it. I wouldn't even.
Terrence, you are up.
Women hospitalized after swallowing partner's semen.
Oh.
A woman from Spain with a severe penicillin allergy went into anaphylactic shock after swallowing her partner's semen. Whoa, what?
My wife has penicillin allergy.
Damn, that sucks. The 31-year-old woman who has not been identified began vomiting and experiencing breathing difficulties after performing fellatio on her partner. She also broke out in hives. Wow. After going to hospital, the woman from Alicante told doctors she had a serious penicillin allergy, but said she had not taken any penicillin. It then emerged that her 32-year-old partner had taken a type of penicillin which medics suspected had triggered her reaction through the seminal transfer of amoxicillin. In other words, they suspected the patient had ingested the drug by swallowing her partner's semen. The patient explained that the patient explained she had not taken penicillin or eaten any unusual foods before performing fellatio. After the woman stated she had never suffered a reaction after her previous sexual encounters. Medics at a hospital, General University, whatever, also ruled out a rare allergy to semen. Okay, so they ruled that out. Her partner, who has also remained unidentified, had reportedly treated an ear infection by taking amoxicillin, clavulanic acid, a form of penicillin.
Wow, that's really insane.
Therefore, medics suspected the woman's anaphylaxis had been caused by a seminal transfer of amoxicillin. Wow.
So he took amoxicillin
for an ear infection.
And it passed through his semen and put her into an anaphylactic shock. That is a what the fuck story if I've ever heard. Holy shit, that's really scary.
Wow. Well,
are you on any medications?
Yeah, it's like
right. Like,
let me get this checklist.
Hold. What have you been taking? Like, no. Seriously, I need to know.
Pineapple juice.
That's it. That's it. Just drinking tons of
bananas.
Yo, that is a wild fucking scenario. That's really scary. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, what was he taking amoxicillin for? That was my first thought.
Right. I was like, oh, nigga. Yeah. Oops.
Yeah, that's my first thought was like, what do you? Oh.
He was like, no. He was like, no. He's like, no, I need it for ear infection. Yeah, that's it. That's the ticket. Like, it's not the ticket. All right, Demetrius.
All right, a man dated a cockroach called Lisa for a year and said she was hotter than any girl.
Shut the fuck up. I don't even want to
Hold. I'm going to do a Kreskin. Let me hold my phone up to my head. This man lives in China.
India. I'm going India.
Yuma
Shinohara,
Hara, 25, from Japan.
Damn it! Come on, man. Come on, dude. So close.
They really need to have sex.
Yo, they really do.
This is disgusting. First of all,
so close.
Said he fancied.
By the way, that's a new part of this segment.
Where are they from?
Yeah, you got to tell the title. You got to read the title of your story, and the other two people on the show have to guess where they're from.
But
this is gross. I'm looking at this picture, and
so he fantasized about them having sex and imagine a world when they could consummate their love.
Ew.
Wait.
Ew.
I can't.
That's him. This is the fucking moron. Ew, yo. Is he one of the singers from BTS?
Oh shit. Tiara.
She gonna fuck me up. I know.
She coming for you.
I know they're South Korean.
Oh, I have to click an answer.
This is really disgusting. No. We're done with this story. No.
You want me to read the rest of it?
I suppose.
This man gives a new meaning to the word sex pest. Sex pest after he confessed he dated a cockroach called Lisa for a year. Yuma called the bug his first love and said that the relationship was platonic. But he fantasized about bedding her either with himself, insect-sized, or with Lisa being human-sized. He also said that no human girl was as hot as Lisa and that the two were 100% serious about each other. But events took a even more Maccabee turn when Lisa died and Yuma ate her.
All right, yo. Yo, he did a fucking praying mantis. Like, yo, he was just like, he ripped her head off.
Yuma isn't into from Makic.
You know what?
Entomophed?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He ate the fucking bug that he was in love with.
Entomophagist, which means he advocates and practices eating insects as an alternative to meat for environmental reasons.
That's fine. That's totally fine. Just don't try to fuck it.
He is well known for organizing bug eating contests in his native Japan. You're a fucking weirdo.
Don't like it. Don't like it.
I did it with reverence. Oh, look. She's eating cheese.
All right, my story. Fucking come on. Mind-blowing. Oh, that's an interesting way to put that. Woman suffers stroke as lover performed oral sex when orgasm caused brain to bleed.
Where Terrence?
I didn't see where it was. England.
I would say Australia.
It's in the UK.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah. Westminster Hospital. Yep. England. There you go. Nailed it. A woman passed out mid-oral sex sesh. I mean, hey, you'd be like, yeah, tore it up, didn't I? Now my brain is bleeding, actually. Oh, sorry. Damn, I was too good. After her orgasm caused a small stroke. The unnamed 44-year-old woman, who was just showing off, was enjoying the fruits of her lover's labor when she lost consciousness for 2 to 3 minutes. Wow. He rushed her to an A&E, fearing she had suffered a fit. Yeah, she suffered a fit, all right. She felt sick when she arrived at the hospital and was suffering a nasty headache, which she scored as a 6 out of 10 on the pain scale. Doctors there wrote in their report, on closer history taking, the patient reported nearing orgasm while receiving oral sex from her partner before losing consciousness. Her partner estimates she was unconscious for 2 to 3 minutes with no convulsive activity reported. She had otherwise been well preceding the event. It's revealed that she had a trace of acute subacnoid blood. That's a type of stroke that causes bleeding in the space around the brain. The patient's brain was caused. The patient's bleed was caused by a small aneurysm, a bulge of a blood vessel, like a balloon or bubble that burst. Okay, not many men can say I have done it to the point of almost killing someone.
Yeah, that's some shit you see on House.
It's like,
or yeah, basically, yeah. That would be a little terrifying.
Yeah, it would be. And then, like, the next woman that try to highlight, she'd be like, "With that mouth," you'd be like, "Pull up this article." Yeah,
just be like,
she'd be like, "No, I don't need that in my life." Deuces, nigga. Like, but I was just okay.
What that mouth do? Kill women. Yo, that's fun. So I wonder if it's every time she has oral sex now. Like it's like would she be afraid to do it because like that would trigger something, or is it just so happened that it happened then? You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably just like one off. But
yeah, I feel like I'm not sure I want to risk it.
Right.
Like if I was getting a blowjob and my brain started bleeding, I'd be like, maybe that's not for me. Like maybe it's not. Incidentally, that's not what happens to me. So I think they're great. But if my brain started bleeding one time, I'd be like,
that'd probably traumatize you.
Yeah.
You'd be like, nah, I don't.
She'd be like, you want something? Like, no.
Like, what's wrong with you, nigga? Like,
you good over there.
That had something that happens to Bruce Banner. Like, he starts getting turned on a little bit, and then something happens. Like, wait, whoa.
Slow down.
That's a big green hand.
Like, I gotta slow down.
I gotta take this.
Like,
back.
no, let's go. Like, I don't think you're ready for what's about to happen here. So I get bigger everywhere all at once. Like, no.
Can you imagine?
TM.
Nah.
No, I don't want any sex that's going to damage any part of my body, especially my brain. No, it's not worth it. I saw a story of Dennis Rodman talking about how he's broken his dick multiple times.
Yeah,
like, yo, what is your life?
And like, there's like subtle cracks he heard too.
Yeah. No,
so
he was like, and there was blood everywhere. I'd be like, yo,
like, just put a bullet in my head.
I'd be like, no.
Yo, that's too vigorous.
And he was like, it happened. He was like, and that was the first time it happened. I was like, stop doing cocaine.
You know what they're doing, right? It was. I think I remember seeing that.
She literally jumped on him.
She was like those sort of
fucking
flips or some shit.
Cirque du Soleil bullshit in the bedroom. Like, don't do that.
Like, bro, your aim ain't that good. Like,
even if it is, that impact is too much. There's a bone there. It's called your fucking pelvis. Snap. No,
if anybody's dick can just like you don't feel none of this. Like, she just wide open.
Yeah.
That's not even a real thing because that doesn't happen.
That's not a thing. That's not a thing. All right, trailers this week. We got to get out of here. Doom Annihilation.
This looks fucking terrible.
Yeah. You want to know? You know why I put the article and not the link to the Did you read this?
Yo, they were like, "Yo, this shit is so terrible," but that is like, no.
Someone tweeted, "I really want ID Software to give their most honest opinion on the trailer for Doom Annihilation." They responded, "We're not involved with this movie." That's it.
They were like, "No."
This looks like it should be on the Sci-Fi Network.
Yeah. Is this like a movie coming out in theaters?
I don't know. I can't imagine.
I would hope not.
This should premiere on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like this
YouTube Red. Not even YouTube Red. Fuck it.
No, just for free on YouTube. The funny thing is this is a 30-second trailer, and that was more than enough for me to know that I don't want to see this. I will watch this drunk. Like really drunk. Full trailer for Aladdin. I'm gonna tell you right now.
I'm in.
I 100% want to see this. I think it looks really fucking good. And look,
after that first teaser, I was like, okay, but this is fine.
Yeah, I think this looks good.
They figured out how to pull you in with the music, and he actually doesn't look too terrible as the genie.
Look,
it's just Will Smith, just being Will Smith.
Yeah, I look, I'm okay with it. I think it looks really good. I think it looks fun.
Some people say when they were having issues with they don't like Jafar. Like, but if you remember Jafar in the cartoon, he was kind of
smarmy.
Yeah, he was like super smarmy, slightly effeminate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, he was definitely. Well, so that's the problem.
Like some
is that
people are saying that they're no. They're just kind of saying he's not like, I don't know. He doesn't have the gravitas, but I'm like, he was kind of like.
I mean, he did seem a little bit more evil than he's portrayed here, but
we've only seen him for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't even make that judgment.
No, this looks fine. Like, I'll see it.
Yeah, 100%. And we obviously talked about Endgame at length, so we won't go into that. But the trailer looked really dope. And again, they're only showing stuff. The report is somewhere between. They're only showing things between the first 20 to 30 minutes. So you're not seeing any of the meat of this movie.
That's crazy.
And I think it is now solidified that the actual movie is 3 hours long.
Really?
Yes.
All for it. But see, now, like we were saying in the private chat, for them to only be showing 20 minutes of at least that's their benchmark. They show Tony Stark. They show Nebula. That means that they make it down there. They got Captain Marvel. That means that the rest of the movie isn't set up. It's all Act 2.
It's all Act 2? Yeah. You get, look, I'm telling you.
That means they got the quantum suits already.
They had the quantum suits in the first 20 to 30 minutes of this movie. That's awesome.
War Machine doesn't have a skin on. We talk about his that's a whole nother fucking suit.
Yep, that they built.
Yo.
I'm super excited. It's in less than 30 days.
They're going to get it back.
Yeah, it's less than 30 days.
Well, no, it's the 26th.
No, today's the 14th.
Today's the 14th.
Oh, okay. It's more than 20. It's more than 30 days away. It's a little over a month away. So yeah, I'm more than fine with that. All right.
I want to see the Hulk. I want to see Professor Hulk.
That's the rumor. Talking Hulk, which would be pretty cool. Like smart, super smart Talking Hulk. All right, that's it for us. It is very late. Yeah. We will see you guys next week for another episode.
Take it easy.
Bye.
You're watching the Nerdpocalypse YouTube channel. Make sure you click that button to subscribe and check out our weekly podcast where we talk about movie, TV, news, tech, and weird stories from around the internet.